Hey, what's up? It's Tito in Shockwave Magazine. I wanted to say hello. We're at 2013 Mayhem Fest, and here we have Kevin from Cowboy.
That's right.
Awesome. Awesome. Listen, I wanted to basically just get with you real quick and let our listeners know that we're very interested in the inner workings of your mind.
Okay. Cool. Sounds good. Sounds good.
All right, well, first question. Let's get it out of the way. One of those grooming questions that everyone asks. You're probably tired of it.
Right.
Mayhem Fest. How's it treating you? Anything dangerous, exciting, / questionable happened in the last 48 hours? Because I'm a limit the scope. 48 hours.
Last 48 hours, I almost was going to urinate on this guy that was passed out next to our trailer, but I decided not to.
Well,
my conscience, I looked and I was like, there's a porta potty. There's a guy that passed out.
I'm sure there are several. Several city ordinance against urinating on people.
I think it's not urinating in public if you have like a green mask on.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I got it. This is a Ninja Turtle party, and I just like took these. They had these green masks. Like I was gonna put that on and do it. Because I think in the state of where were we? I think it was New Jersey. It's okay to urinate on homeless people.
Really?
No.
Oh, I was gonna say, wow, I have to learn something new every day.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's been a lot of fun, man. We've been having a lot of parties. Actually, there's been like 3 parties in a row or something like that. So, trying to balance out the long day with a brutal party at the end of the night, and then try to get whatever sleep that you can, get up, start it all over again. So that's why I have my emergency granola bar, just in case.
Oh yeah. Well, listen, I wanted to ask you some deeper probing band-related questions,
Sure.
and I had to get the Pedigree Mayhem thing out of the
Sure,
way.
yeah, no worries.
But listen, as a band that has come up from back in the MySpace era of stuff,
That's right.
I mean, what as a band that came up with the MySpace era and the digital revolution, in regards to art and music, okay? How has your opinion of the internet changed, if any, when it comes to the internet being a place for commerce, for music and art?
I think it's completely changed. I mean, I guess if we include like Spotify with that, like, I mean, that's how I listen to music now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm totally okay with the fact that, like, I think it's like when the whole Napster thing happened, I think that Lars and company were right to take some type of action towards like the perceived threat of the loss of commerce, or like essentially stealing from artists. I think it was good that they took action, but I think that the action they took pushed the industry the way that it was, to where people, it's kind of like when you tell a kid not to do something, you know what I mean? And before the kid finds it out for themselves, the kid wants to go find out for themselves. Tell them not to touch don't touch the stove. The kid wants to touch the stove and burn their hand. And so I think it's kind of along the lines of like they caused that rebellion of like, screw that, we're not gonna pay for it at all. Whereas it's like if Napster would have come out, you know what I mean, and then James and them, rather than suing Napster, would have just bought it, and then introduce a monthly fee, $10 a month or something like that, $5 a month, whatever. And then slowly, they could have ramped it up and transitioned from physical media into the digital media, and we would have retained a lot more of the potential money that was out there. Because I think that the way that they did it polarized things so hardcore that everyone was like, screw this, I'm not gonna pay for this. Look, and then it caused this big split. You know what I mean? Where I think they totally could have had. That's why I use Spotify as a perfect example. I think people are more than willing to pay a fair amount of money so that the artists actually get money in order to listen to the music, to have access to the music. It's Spotify Premium is $10 a month. So for $10 a month, I can legally listen to all the albums I ever lost, string tributes, covers, karaoke versions, all those things I might not even ever actually even bought, but that are cool to listen to like that. So I think it's super important. I don't think it's going away at all. I think that it's the future of music, and the music industry needs to adapt to it.
Thank you. Perfect. Great answer, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah.
A lot of people are just like, well, yeah, the internet brings you to fans, and fans, yeah, man, rock and roll.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's cool. If you come out to the shows as a result of it and buy a T-shirt or something like that, it's cool. But it's kind of like, you know, like I just like been using this Kindle as well, and like I've been, you know, been okay with spending $10 for a book on the Kindle, and I just started to think about, man, think about like the time it takes an author to write a book. You know, like it's what they do for their living. They have a draft process, and then they type and they write and they revise and then edit, revise, edit. Spend all this time creating, you know, and devoting their personal time to it, and then, you know, the publisher puts the book out, and then the people buy the book, and that's how the artist, you know, eats and makes their money and stuff. Authors don't go on tours, you know what I'm saying? So to me, I just kind of looked at, made that parallel, and I was just like, oh, because there's people, you can find torrents of, you know, PDFs of books for electronic, you know, ebooks or whatever. But I started to think about it, and I'm like, you know, is it really that hard to pay $8 or $10 for something that somebody, you know, spent 6 months to a year of their life, you know, making, that you enjoy, and it's obviously something you enjoy because you're reading it, you know what I mean? So it's just kind of, I just made that parallel, and I was just like, why is it okay to, you know, for the artist to spend all this time writing material, revising it, editing it, jamming it out with the guys, going into the studio, you know, spending the kind of painstaking amount of time it takes to get things right, to make everything perfect, and then go through the entire process of like the artwork and, you know, that whole development side of things, and then people are just like, download free for me. Why should I have to pay for your music? I mean, like, I understand like $18 for a CD maybe was excessive or something, you know what I mean? But something like Spotify at a bare minimum, you know, it's awesome. It's really cool, and like even just like $8, $10 for a CD, right? I used to do that all the time. I'd buy 10, 15 in a month. Music was important enough to me to spend money on. You know, we'll spend $8 on a beer. You know, beers here probably, I've seen them for like 13 or 14 bucks. You're gonna drink it and you're gonna pee it out in an hour and a half.
You're borrowing beer. You're not buying it. You're borrowing it.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you'll spend $13 on a beer at Mayhem, but you won't spend $10 on a CD that you could get infinite amount of listens to, infinite amount of joy from. So it's just kind of interesting to see that parallel and to watch that whole argument play out. But I think like the answer is going to be services like that. People are like, all right, look, you don't have to pay, you know, all the money, but contribute somehow. You know, contribute, give back, you know, to the artists that you supposedly love. You know.
Well, question 2. Thank you, by the way.
Yeah.
Question 2. In 2007, you guys did Genesis, right? When Genesis first came out, again, where it was that era where I call it the MySpace era, because let's just be real, like what happened, there wasn't, Facebook was around, but it was not what it is today. But it was the MySpace era, and with the right off the bat, the success of the first album, and then with the way that the business is today and the business model, do you see any creative difference or approach in the way you approached your first album versus your last album with the Democracy?
Yeah, I think, I mean, you know, definitely been some lineup changes, so that will always play an effect. And actually, that was probably the biggest factor into the way Demonocracy sounds, the way it sounds as opposed to where Genesis was. Because Genesis was like the band's first, like, all right, this is what we want to sound like. And then through those lineup changes, you get the Demonocracy, and you have totally different players, much more technically proficient, and so you kind of want to showcase that, and, you know, put the band in a direction where it's stuff that we want to listen to. You know, it's the record that we wanted to make. So I think that, you know, just kind of naturally going through that progression, that, you know, that's really what was driving than any of the kind of the digital or social media or any of that kind of stuff. I mean, there's still a lot of people that want us to write the Doom EP again, like 7 more times.
Yeah. Can you just do 4 different versions of that one song over and over again?
Yeah. So we get that a lot, you know, and I respect those people's wishes and stuff, but I mean, we're gonna write what we want to write for ourselves. And I think that's how artists should be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You write art as your own personal form of expression from yourself that you want to express, and doing anything for anybody else wouldn't make sense. It'd be expressing their wishes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Kind of like I'm here to get off. Hopefully you're getting off with me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, or it's gonna get awkward.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good analogy, man.
Awesome. Listen, off rock and roll per se, or closely related. what would you like to do that you haven't done yet, either in or out of music? If it's in music, by all means.
Sure.
If it's out of music, spread your wings. Tell me.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I would honestly like to travel without being on tour.
Yeah.
I've been to some really cool places on tour, and we get to be there for like 18. New Zealand. I was there for 18 hours, and most of that was either sleeping or setting up for the show, playing the show, partying really quick after the show, and then leaving. So 18 hours in New Zealand. And New Zealand is like one of the most gorgeous places on the planet. So I'd like to be able to go back now on my own time to the places that I've been to on tour, and other places that I haven't, and really get to check things out without a pressing time schedule.
Yeah.
Skydiving was always something I kind of wanted to get back into. I did a couple jumps, and that was really cool. Maybe cross-country motorcycle touring. Maybe a Metallica tour, whatever.
Oh yeah, you following or working with, or just or
on tour with? Yeah,
Gotcha.
Either of my bands. We'll go out with Metallica. It'll be cool.
Oh, cool.
It'll be good.
So you have that in the works, or is that something that you just would like?
Yeah, it's something we would like.
Gotcha.
Everybody. That was one of the goals, right?
Yeah.
Metallica.
Yeah.
Can't tour with Pantera, so.
Yeah. Well, what would you have done if you hadn't gone down that road of musician slash? I mean, I don't even like using the R word,
Sure.
but rock star.
Right. Okay.
If
Energy drink.
energy drink. Yeah. I don't even like using that word, but if you hadn't chosen that journey, that path, what would you have done?
Pro snowboarder. That was the other thing I wanted to do. I wanted to do that first, actually. I chose that first. I moved up. Senior year in high school, and junior year, I changed my schedule, so I got out of school. I live in Denver, and so I'd get out of school at 11:30. My buddy'd come pick me up, and we'd drive up the mountains, go night riding till 10 at night, and then ride on the weekends. And I moved there after school and got a job teaching snowboarding, and just wanted to hit the park all day and just be a pro snowboarder. And some things happened basically with the living situation. Where this alcoholic dude got put in charge of rent and blew all the money on coke, and then we got evicted.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah, exactly. He was a huge soda drinker. So he got charged of that. So I could have couch surfed, and stayed up there. But my buddy that I grew up playing music with, this guy Greg Williams, he was like, let's start our band. We always talk about starting a band. We played together a little bit in high school. And I was like, okay, cool. So I came down and I was like, all right, let's try that.
Awesome.
And it worked out.
Awesome. So you at least started a journey with a friend. It wasn't just a Craigslist situation
no,
where
exactly,
I play, you play.
Yeah, it's kind of too bad too, because it was Cephalic Carnage, the band I got into. It wasn't the first band I started with them. The first band was called Ain Matter, and we were supposed to, I never quit or anything like that. It was just they got really bummed out that I joined Cephalic Carnage, and rather than seeing it as an opportunity, or if they're just kind of bide their time, be patient, have all the connections, and we could make our band.
Yeah.
I like Corey Taylor did with Stone Sour. You know what I'm saying? Not like we're on that level or anything, but just the same. I could have gotten us, a deal, and they were kind of it was too much friction. They were just like, oh, you left us, type of thing, which sucks. But I still love those dudes. They're still really good friends for the most part. So, but yeah, it was cool to not Craigslist stuff, because we had to do that. It wasn't Craigslist even. It was it was ads.
It was something. Exactly.
We put the little ad up, the little your number, the little flail off thing.
They used to use that stuff that Egyptians used. What was it called? Paper flyers. Pepper. Yeah, it was weird. Flyers. But flyers themselves is, I don't even know what that was. What is that?
I don't know.
Well, listen, last question, and I really appreciate your candidness, and very, very much.
Yeah.
This one is a little different.
Okay.
It's a little snarky, a little cynical.
Good.
Do you prefer corporate kiss-assers, or do you prefer backstabbing critics?
I'm gonna say.
Considering the fact that I am a media guy.
I would probably say. Oh man, that's a good question. I would probably say the corporate kiss-assers. I mean, either way, you're getting a face, you're getting a facade of the person. One of them's just pretending to like you, and the other one's pretending to like you, and then stab me in the back. So I'd rather not get stabbed in the back. So I'm gonna go for corporate kiss-assers.
Word, yeah. Awesome. Well, listen. I thank you very much. Shockwave Magazine, thanks you very much. Baltimore, thanks you very much.
Thank you.
And is there anything that you would like to tell people about Job for a Cowboy that maybe we didn't cover? Anything about your new album or anything at all?
Pay attention to the Facebook. We'll put some new stuff up. I also have, if anybody's looking for something to look at in the meantime, I have a bass channel, or a channel on YouTube called Bass for Days. YouTube.com/Bass for Days. And I do like bass play-alongs of like Job for Cowboy songs or Spaulding songs, or even I just make up weirdo, whatever the hell, Primus-esque type stuff and like get all weird with it. It's fun. It's a good time if you're looking for something in the meantime until we drop our new record.
Well, fantastic.
Awesome, man.
Thank you very much.